Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy. And I must admit I've been in a bit of a slump, but I am getting up and getting back to what it is that makes me happy and what gives me joy. And even though I really haven't felt like getting in here, I've wanted to get in here. Just talking to myself and getting myself to do it was a whole different thing. I know I'm not the only one who gets into slumps, but I do know that I heard something from Lindsay Zenor today as she was going through some stuff on her channel in a video, and she said the main part is showing up, and I haven't been showing up. So my apologies to you who are my constant viewers. Those of you who are visiting, welcome. And I just want to get into this and share this with you. I had a lot of fun making it when I made it. It's been done for a little bit, so I'm finally sharing it because I had to do the rest of the little bits and pieces. If you've seen any of my journals, you know I'm very detail oriented, which is why it takes me so long to get them done. This particular journal is themed along the lines of old apothecary style things, an old apothecary shop, and I'm calling it Arsenic and Old Lace. You will see a lot of pharmacy type items. A lot of them are vintage, are actual pieces. Some of them are from different downloads and such that I have purchased from other people or that I have bought at a store, and so I will share those with you as we go along. This journal's chunky. Guess you could have guessed that. It measures 11.5 inches by 7.5 inches by just almost 3 inches on the spine. I made this from the cover of an old scrapbook. I mean the big, scrapbooks that had the post and screw type fasteners, and you had all these pages, big squarish pages that you would use the photo corners on to put your photos and keepsakes in. I cut the cover of that in half because I really liked this embossing. I think that shows up. It may show up better on the back. Yes, see all that? I thought that was beautiful. And so I cut the cover in half, and I still have the back side that has the same embossing, so I can make another journal. I cut it in half, made the spine out of another bit of the journal, and let's see, we have 3 signatures in here. It is full of stuff. The first thing I want to show you, I'll show you the tassel first. I did this tassel a little differently than I usually do, in that I covered it, and at one point this looked like I was trying to make a jellyfish ghost because I had this lace wrapped over the top here, and then whoops, that came unglued. I'm going to have to give that a stitch. That will be fixed before whoever purchases this receives it. Tied on to these yarns and bits are little apothecary jars with warning labels. There is one more, and it says something in Latin. And they are all tied on to the tassels with these threads. There are some brads on here. I have some beads scattered. There's a little skull on here, the skull and crossbones symbol for poison. Here are some of the beads that I have tied on. And it just clips right off so that you can remove it as you wish. I'm going to set that over here, and I need to remember to put a stitch in the top of that tassel. On the outside of the cover, I have some doilies. Like I said, the theme is arsenic and old lace. There's a lot of lace in here. No real arsenic was used in the making of this book. And then I have this mesh gauze that had these embroidered roses on it that I covered the spine with. And again, there is the back. I did stain the back with some Distress Oxide inks, and I think that I used Vintage Rose and no, not vintage rose, vintage photo, and gathered twigs and brushed corduroy to give it that aged look, so that I had the contrast of the black, the aged, and the vintage doily. This is a handmade doily here. Down here at the bottom, you can see a lot of the petticoats that are there and some of the beading that I have done. Here is the side, and there is the top. Let's open this up. Inside the front cover, you will find a pocket that holds a pen for you. I have started doing that, and I think that it's a really nice addition to be able to just have your pen right there. And this is my information card. I tuck that in all of my journals. Be right in there, but you don't have to keep it in there. And I have a book plate here. Here is part of the doily that I wrapped around the entire journal that came inside, and then I have more lace here. Some of these papers I got from different paper packs, and I will list them in the blog and in the description below. This is edged with some of the paper that came out of the scrapbook, along with some brown tissue paper, a scrap of scrapbook paper, and this lace edging, and I've sewn it all down with this bow here. Here I have a pocket that I made from a wedding invitation, and I just cut out the inside where the words are and made it into a pocket. This is a tea-dyed index card, and I've just added some lace, and this is a vintage drugstore sticker. Slides right in there. In behind here, I have these two forms that are death certificates for the state of Wisconsin. One is filled out, one is blank. These are prints, and I believe those came from Pink Oddbird. And like I said, I will link below everybody whose stuff that I used. This is a vintage prescription. I have several of these in here. Here are two more journaling cards, just like this one here, that are placed in this lace pocket. And then a tag trio. This is just the part of the tag that was cut out of this, and I put that onto a manila tag, and then there's a black tag behind it. And on this bulb pin, I have put some coordinating seed beads and one of the eyelets that got smashed, not inside the paper. And so now it's just a little piece of decor. This is one of the original pages from the scrapbook right here. This little card, I believe, is from Ephemera's Treasures, and I made it into a journaling card, and it came with a little band. And I made the band to hold this glove because part of the instructions for the fairy cream says, let's see, where does it? Oh, here it is. It says, a delightful beneficial cream for gentlemen to use after shaving, or apply to parts affected. Kid gloves can be worn immediately after applying. Well, guess what? I just happen to have a pair of kid gloves in my stash. So I added that, and it's held on with that little bulldog clip up there. This is from a paper pad that I have, and the colors just fit well, and I put it onto this with a tiny paper clip. These are from Tim Holtz, and I absolutely adore them. I don't have any plain pages. Even the pages like this have some stenciling on them. This is a photocopy of a piece of lace that I have. And this is a copy of some onion dyed paper. And I love the back of this one. This one I believe is coffee dyed. Here I have a pocket that I have put an original library card catalog card in, called From Death to Mourning by Thomas Wolfe. And in here I have put, this is a census sheet from, I believe it was 1940 something. I don't want to waste your time looking for the date, but it's on there somewhere. And then this is just from one of the kits that I have purchased, and I will find out what it is and I will let you know. Here's a washi tape collage. I keep all of my little pieces of washi tape. You can't see it, but right there I've got 3 that I didn't put in the book, and I don't know why. I may put them in there. Here's a little collage, and this little section here talks about a little girl that fainted. And so I've got spirits of salts, which is something that they used to help people who had fainted to come around. I have some washi tape going both directions for that little collage. This was a dyeing experiment gone wrong. I'm still not sure why it turned out gray. I don't even remember what color it was supposed to be, but I do like that the lace worked well. There's some brown deli paper there. This little tiny bulldog clip has some seed beads, a lacy backing. Can you see? Nope. I can't figure out how to get a light on it. There we go. Is that better? I'll just zoom in. This little dangle has 2 seed beads and a spider, since sometimes pharmacists have to deal with spider bites. And then this little lacy piece that I thought looked like a web behind it. And this is some vintage ephemera that was for kidney and bladder pills. And I actually took the envelope apart because it still had pills in it when I got it. And this is from 50s, I believe. And inside we have the paper that talks about deadly kidney disease. Let's see if this has a date on it. I do not see a date, but this is old. And then I've included another one of those tea-dyed lace cards in the envelope. This slides right over this ledger sheet. On the back side here, this bulldog clip is also holding this card, and this is just a picture of an old apothecary / pharmacy. I got this from the New York Public Domain site, New York Public Library Public Domain Images site, and I just have that clipped under there. Ledger paper folds out. Here's a little collage with some book page, some vintage lace, another one of the labels, that's a vintage label. And here's a pocket on the back. That is a vellum pocket, and it holds another picture of another pharmacy that I also got from the New York site, New York Public Library site. And then this is just a copy of an old receipt that I have that doesn't have a date on it. This, I believe, is from Ephemera's Treasures, and these are all labels, actual labels, vintage, for pharmacy use. And I've sewn this little glassine bag onto the wax paper, or the vellum, excuse me. The glassine bag is sewn onto the vellum, and then the vellum is on the page for a pocket. This page is edged with lace and washi. These 2 skeletons, I believe, are from the Graphics Fairy. And I just made a hidden paper clip. And this is a vintage postcard. And this is pretty old. And what's funny is I think I bought this in Texas, but the place was in Kramer, Indiana. And this was way, way, way back. And I just thought that that was interesting. A Medlavia Moore mud bath. It was a spa treatment to help you with your good health. And then this is another of the library card catalogs. This is a textbook of human anatomy. Just goes right in there. More tea-dyed paper. You can see just the very subtle print of the lace on there. And some more tea-dyed papers. Vellum, music. This is a vintage pharmacy bag from 1979, right in the center. There's another collage with some lace and a bunch of those vintage labels. This little pocket here is made from this label, and this is an actual label for a corn remedy. And then this ad is from one of the kits that I bought. I think that's ephemera. And I made that into a journaling card and put another T card on there. It fits right in that pocket. Here's a lace pocket that has this vintage card in it, and this is also a very old card, but I don't know. It doesn't have a year, but it's for beetle oil. Has a very interesting feel to it. And on the back of where that little ribbon was tied through the lace to help hold it down, I have a bulb pin with a little apple and a piece of lace. This is an old label from some file folders with a sticker. The other piece of ledger with a bit of collaging and stenciling on it. The butcher paper, deli paper. Here, this sheet is from another of my scrapbook finds that I bought. Different color, same texture on the paper. I made this little collage pocket here. And inside I have a tetanus antitoxin shot. Again, I don't have a year for that. It was used as a blotter on the back. That may be what that other one was used for as well, because it's blue, but it has this same reverse print of the handwriting on it. Here's another prescription for neosynephrine. It's not a prescription now, and it's for baby Wilson. Baby didn't have a name yet. Here's another pocket, and this is for, let's see. This is a coffin for a man who died at Standbacks. $2.50 for that coffin in 1902. I think this was also from Pink Odd Bird. I wrapped some of the lace around this black page. This is a pocket. I haven't put anything in it. I just like the way it laid there. And on this back page of the first signature, I have made a little journal. This, I believe, is Graphics Fairy, and I have stenciled across it and just created a little booklet and used this tiny little bulldog clip from Tim Holtz to hold this up here at the top so it didn't slide around. And that's the first signature. Now let me make sure I've still got the book in the right place, because I did a lot of sliding around, I think. And I didn't show you the signature ties, but there's the first one with the little seed beads that kind of go with the coloration. Here is the second signature. This is a genealogy chart. And I don't know why, but to me it just fit. Here I have what I call a wardrobe pocket. I have two little cards here. These two little pockets on the front have vintage labels on both sides that don't want to go in the pocket right this minute. There we go. And this holds this shut and it slides open. There is a pocket on the inside where I have these two journaling cards, which are from the New York Public Library. And this folds up so that you have all of this journaling space. I was inspired by a wardrobe that I saw at an antique store, because when you opened up the doors, it had this piece that the rack that you hang the clothes on came up and out, so that you could look at all the things that you had hanging without having to try to peer back into the dark places. I've collaged on this pocket with some Tim Holtz pieces and an original label and a little doily. This was a tag I was experimenting with some of the silver and black paint that I used on the cover to highlight the embossing. A little bit of washi tape across the top. This, I believe, is from Pink Odd Bird as well. And this was Pay To Benjamin Taylor, $4 for digging a grave. This book could lend itself to Halloween if you wanted to push it that way. It could lend itself to goth if you wanted to push it that way, or you could just leave it pharmacy and enjoy it as it is. I took this image of a cigarette card and blew it up and made a floating pocket out of it, and inside is just some writing paper for a little hidden spot to journal some stuff. And another tea-dyed card with that lace print. This is a photo of a graduating class from a pharmacy college. This one is New York Public Library, and it flips over and you can write on the back. Right here I have a pocket that I created from an old envelope. It wasn't an old envelope, it was an envelope that I got a while back, but I liked the way it felt. And then I ended up covering it all up with the lace. And I sewed the lace around the pocket. I put this corsage pin through and curled the end after snipping off the pointiness so you wouldn't hurt yourself. And that is on this page that has been, had tissue applique put on it. Here is an image, a copy, photocopy of one of my dyed papers. This was turmeric and ginger tea. And so I just put that in there. Another one of these little bulldog clips holding a journaling card that has the vintage labels on both sides. This little linen doily holds a journaling card that is made out of a time card. There's the front, there's the back. A whole lot of collage with a bunch of the cards. More of my dyed paper, hand dyed. A music sheet and a deli sheet. Here is a notepad. These images are from the New York Public Library, I believe. And they are on plant pharmaceutical botany. That's what it is, pharmaceutical botany. That page folds out for the ledger. Here's another of the cards. This one is basic microscopic techniques. I don't know why it says that. It doesn't say techniques, it says techniques. This is a pharmacy bag. I did not open up the top or the side. I will let you do that, or you have a little bit sturdier place to glue some things if you would like. On this bulldog clip, I have 3 tiny little tags and a little lock and some of the lace from the rose trim. And it's not holding anything on there, it's just on there for decoration. This is a collage strip that I made with some yarn and washi tape and different papers. Another vintage label, that's syrup of ipecac. This is a trio of tags. It's a swivel tag set. You can write on the back of all of them. It's just held on there with that tiny paper clip. More of the collage with the washi tape. I made a pocket out of this tea-dyed card and put this little booklet in there that ties closed. And then you can write on the inside. Oh, here is the center of that signature. More seed beads. Here is a tag that is held on with the Tim Holtz. I don't know what these clips are called, but I know that a lot of people have trouble with them ripping their pages or tearing their pages. All you have to do is pull it apart a little bit and then put it back on there and squeeze it closed, and it works just fine. And then I made this tag. I put some lace on it after I did some stenciling on it. And then it matches the stenciling that is on the page behind it. You see, it goes on much easier if you just loosen it up and then make it fit. Got 2 journaling cards here in this pocket with the mercurochrome label on it. Anybody's grandma ever grabbed that stuff and it hurt more than the ouch on your knee? Yeah. Here I have another pocket made out of lace and another booklet with one of those little clips. And this folds open and out so that you have all this journaling space. And then you can write on the backs of some of the folds too. And that's on the back side of that pharmacy bag, which has some more prescriptions, original prescriptions in it. And it is held closed, not really technically held closed, but it is weighted so that it's closed. And I have this little glass bead on another one of those webby looking backings with a little safety pin holding it onto that doily. Some more ledger, deli paper, and music. I don't think I can make a journal without some music in it somewhere. Here is a trio of tea-dyed tags, along with this little looking glass, monocle, whatever. It doesn't actually magnify, but it does have glass in it, and I think it looks pretty cool. And those are pinned onto the top of this fabric flip, which has different sheets of various papers. Tea-dyed, lined. This is a color catcher that you put in your laundry. And I love using those things. And that is on, again, an original sheet from the scrapbook, and it has lace on the edge. Here I have 3 pockets on a page that I've collaged that has the word vertebrae on it. And so I used these images, which were also from the New York Public Library public domain images. I cut them out, put them on tea-dyed paper, and then on the black tags, I put some tissue paper along with some Tim Holtz stickers that came with the jars that are in the tassel. I added writing space on the back and the red ribbon. And when I put them in here, you could put them in there with the skeleton pieces in there, inside the pocket, but I kind of like them hanging out myself. So they just slide right into these vellum pockets. I sewed them to this page and then glued this page in. And I think you end up with a nice looking collage after that's all in. This is another authentic package that is glued onto the page. I just tried to take it off the page. I don't know why. It's sodium bicarbonate. It was a powder that you poured into your drink. And I put a little, for tummy indigestion, I put a little journaling card in there. And behind it, you will see that I've got this tiny paper clip attached. And it is holding these 2. I must have glued that by accident. Oh, no. One is glued and one is not. This is the tuck for this. And it has another vintage label on there. Goodness, Tommy. I've been struggling. I am on day 3 of a migraine with just the edges left, which is how come I felt like I could do this journal, but my brain still isn't working. I have an altered tag there with a little bit of stencil there and some of this fancy yarn that I've used throughout. That's what it looks like spread out with another little piece of lace across it. And then a book card for Arsenic and Old Lace with some dates stamped on. And the back is still usable as a writing space. Here's another lace pocket that is on more of the color catcher sheet. I've used a pharmacy sticker up there, the authentic pharmacy stickers. Here's another letter. This was somebody got ran over by a locomotive on the Southern Railroad, and I don't know why I'm laughing, because it's not funny, but it's just the way that they put it. And that was in 1903. And I think this is from Pink Oddbird. And inside this bag, I have just put lots more ephemera. And this is a pharmacy bag, but it had a whole bunch of modern day labels on the front that didn't quite go with the vibe that I was looking for. Again, this is another scrapbook page. This is for Cepacol. This prescription is. Here is a journaling card that just has a vintage card on there from an apothecary. Here is a giant tag. Plenty of room to write, and it just tucks into this little shallow pocket down here. So I have put the paper clip up here to hold it into place. And the top, I have some of the lace and the edging lace. And that's the second signature. We're almost done. Here's the front of the third signature. We have two kinds of lace, but it looks like three because I've put this one up in between where these two are sewn together. I liked that look. Here's a belly band with 3 tags inside. I did the off center on purpose. I kind of like the way it weighted it down. Here is a small envelope that I made. I put one of those stickers on it. And inside, I have 2 more labels. These are from, I think that they are from Graphics Fairy, but I'm not sure on that one. More stenciling, more tea-dyed paper. This is a pocket from a glassine bag that is holding 2 tags, well, 4 if you want to count each of them, but 2 sets of tags. That image is from New York Public Library. I don't remember where that one is from. This is a vintage tag there. And I like to have the long tag, the long skinny tag hanging out the front of the pocket. And then this bag also creates 2 more pockets. And this is a registration card for a Rexall Club group meeting and a postcard to somebody who is part of that Rexall Club. This is a sympathy card. This came from Pink Oddbird, and I have a journaling card on the back. Has some Tim Holtz labels down here. That is a real stamp. And then some tissue paper on the front that I decoupaged on the front. This comes out. You could write on the back if you want. And I reused this portion of the page that had photo corners glued on it already in the scrapbook. It just happened to fit perfectly for that card. There's some vellum and some more tea-dyed papers. This is one of my favorite papers, and I don't know how I did it. Don't know how I did it. So I definitely scanned that. And this one as well. This was wine dyed. I do know that. I think that this was a Cabernet Sauvignon, but I'm not sure. I would have to look. I created these 3 pockets just from, I took a 6x6 piece of paper and I cut it in half, and then I cut angles that were equal. And this is from New York Public Library. And I just butted these up to each other and only glued around the one edge. And it looks like one big pocket. It's actually 3 separate pieces. I like the way that looks. And then on this side, this is a vintage card. And this is a copy of a receipt that I have in my collection. And here, this little clip is holding this Rita Donnelly flip that I've made into an extra little journaling booklet and tied together with some yarn and fringed it out. Here I just created a flip. You can write there, all on the inside. You can fold this back over. You've got all this writing space. I have an inventory sheet here that I've tea-dyed. This is an altered paper clip that has two tiny little tags inside the pocket on these little tags. These tags aren't real big themselves, and then I have the tinier ones tucked in there. It just slips right over the top of this page. Should have not just said that because it never happens. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. I've got it so that it should just go, but since it's on the opposite end of where I'm looking, it's very hard to see. And it was holding this on the back side. I forgot about that. This was, I have tried dyeing with almost everything I can get my hands on. This is from Tomatillo Skins. And it just gives it a very subtle aged look. I mean, it's not like in your face like tea, but you can tell that it's not like brand new. It's just slightly colored at the edges. And I like the way it made it feel. So I'll probably do that again with the Tomatillos. Got washi and lace bit cut off there. And then I have 3 tiny little tags in this little pocket down here at the bottom. Another piece of deli paper. Here is, this was the cutest thing. It's Health the Easy Way. And it's actually a juicing book from 1940. Oh my goodness, I know I saw a date when I was reading through it. And maybe I didn't. Maybe it was on the package that I bought it in, but I feel like it was 1940 something. They were juicing way, way, way before we thought it was cool. This bulldog clip, I added a broken earring. Didn't do anything to the earring except for wrap it around the edge of the bulldog clip. It makes a lovely decoration on there. Here I have some black mulberry paper, some more music. This music sheet I have added lace to at the bottom. Here is a mini cigarette card that I printed. I tore this out of a piece of tissue paper, and it's a Casket, Carriage, and Hearst Trimming Company. This bulldog clip is holding this tag here, and I kind of based this on a tag that I saw Dee Farrago do. It's a tag, but the card slides up into it. It's not exactly how she made it. I kind of fussed with it a little bit myself. And then this journaling card is just tucked up in there. Again, it's got one of the real pharmacy stamps on it right there. And then this tiny little paper clip has 2 tiny little seed beads and a tiny little mushroom on it. I thought that was super cute, and it just helps to keep this folded closed. If I can get it on there, because I don't have on my crafting glasses. They're over beside me. I should always put on my crafting glasses before I start a video, because at some point I'm going to say I can't do this because I don't have them on. Maybe I need to make myself a note saying, put on your glasses. There we go. And then it just tucks under the corner of that bulldog clip. This is a piece of paper that I discovered was actually a sticker when I went to cut it. It came in sheets like this, and I have several sheets of it, and I don't have a clue where I got it. I may have gotten it in Happy Mail or on clearance somewhere or at the Dollar Tree, but the whole thing's a sticker. So I just took that sheet. It had Devil's Claw here on it, which if you're an herbalist or anything, you might know a little bit about that, and some different information on it. And I just folded it in half over the deli sheet and then made a long lace tab. Here I have another one of the sheets that I've just folded in half. I've got Spirits of Turpentine label on there and some other labels on here held on with the tiny paper clip. The Tomatillo paper there, some more stenciling with some chloroform and silver nitrate labels. The other side of the inventory tag. This is just a simple little lace tag. I've tea-dyed and then stenciled and then used this bit of lace on the inside of it to make this clip. And it is holding this journaling card that also has a silver nitrate label on it. I didn't realize it until just now, that I have wrapped in some pattern paper and then put writing places on the back. And it holds that up. And obviously you can move things wherever you want to if this journal is yours, right? You can do whatever you want. Here we have an in remembrance card. This was also from Pink Odd Bird. And I just put it all by itself on that black scrapbook paper. Here is a pocket that I made up, and I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make this. But inside each of these little 4 pockets, I have a journaling card that is decorated with dictionary page and washi tape and one of the labels, and they just tuck right in there. And then I've got washi tape here and some more labels. There's that wine dyed paper again, and that paper, the mystery paper. Here I have made pockets out of 2 of the prescription cards. I backed it with book page because the prescription paper was very thin. And these 2 images I got from the New York Public Library. They're public domain images. And that one goes up there. And this library card catalog card says The Tissues of the Body by Clark. And so I thought that fit. Now, these two prescriptions, one's for neosynephrine, you know, everyday neosynephrine. This one is for camphorated French opium. I am pretty sure that we would not get a prescription like that. Here I have just created a big tall pocket, and I have put in, this is, the company was Boyer Furniture and Undertaking. And so it was a check written to Standard Chain Company. And then this is a receipt for a casket and something else that I can't read right now. Again, wrong glasses. And I think that those two either came from Pink Odd Bird or M. Ephemera's Treasures. Some more lace down here on the bottom of this stenciled page. And this is the last page of the signature. And I've got 2 things in here. 53 emergency aids while waiting for the doctor. And this one's from 1938. And I'm just putting the whole book in here. It's very, very interesting. And it's by Lysol disinfectant. I had no idea that had been around this long. This card is for the New Home Medical Encyclopedia. And this prescription is for Baby Stewart. It is for citrusulfas. I don't know what you would do with that, but that's what it was for. Back of the signature, and I have a pocket back here. It's from Tim Holtz paper. And I have just some tea-dyed sheets of paper. Let's see, which tea was this? This was, I do not remember. I do not remember which tea that was. I've been experimenting with lots of different teas. And that one has a slightly different hue than just regular tea or any of the flavored teas that I am familiar with. So it must be a new one that I tried. And then here is the back once again. I just noticed there's a camera on the back. It is an old camera with the accordion style, what is that, canopy? I don't think it's canopy. But there she is. She. There it is. She is. It is. He is. Whatever. There the book is. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. I hope that you have forgiven me for being AWOL for so long. I've been struggling, but I need to struggle more to stay busy and stay on here. That is what keeps me sane. And some would argue, are you really sane? But that's okay. I miss being on here. I miss sharing with you, and I miss creating and being in my studio. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. I'm only a few subscribers away from 300, which is exciting for me. And last but not least, I just want to remind you to be kind always. Bye.